Scoring and grading are not actually the same things, especially when we're working with standards-based grading as our goal. So what is scoring and what is grading? When we're working through any product, we want to make sure that we're able to score each item and give feedback to the learner. So for our purposes, scoring would involve feedback items like, is it completely correct? Is it completely incorrect? Is it a partially correct answer or response? When I get to the middle school and the high school levels, we end up needing things like partial high or a partial low. A partial high answer is one that is mostly there, just has a minor error. And a partial low would be one that they started to get it a little bit, but really there's a lot more that needs to happen in that response. So with this kind of a scoring tool, I can go in and look at items, 3.0 items and 2.0 items from the proficiency scale, for example, and I can say, this is completely correct, completely incorrect, partial high, and partial low. And that's really all I need to know, because my purpose is to say, is the child at standard? Or is the child approaching standard? Or is the child above standard? That's all I need to know. I don't need points anymore. So it's not plus 5 points or minus 2 points. I don't even have the 100-point scale anymore. So let's say I had a 5-questioned assessment on one standard. And let's say the standard is number sense 1. Okay? And let's say my first item is a 2.0 item, the second one's a 2.0 item, the third one's a 2.0 item, the fourth one's a 3.0 item, and the fifth one is a 4.0 item. And let's say as I work through these items, let's practice scoring with a child. So on the 2.0 items, let's say it's completely correct, and completely correct. And then for the 3.0 item, let's say it's a partial high. And then for the 4.0 item, let's say it's a partial low. When I look at this kind of feedback, this kind of scoring, and I want to come up with a grade. Now a grade is where I'm actually going to evaluate, and I'm going to sit here and say, is this child at standard or not? Well, looking at that scoring, is the child at standard? Well, they got all the 2.0s correct, and that's approaching. And they had a partial high on the 3.0 item. So they're not entirely at standard. They might be just below on that, but they did have a partial low on the 4.0. So when I get to the grading, I now have a different proficiency scale. This scale has 0.5s in it. So I could say that this child is performing at a 2.5 level because they have complete success, no omissions at the 2.0 level, and they have partial success at the 3.0 and 4.0 level. And that would be a 2.5. So looking at this now, grading becomes something where I need to use the data from the scoring in order to inform the actual grading. Grading occurs only per standard. I cannot mix up multiple standards. I'm putting my name as an educator behind the statement, this child can do this standard. Now, why was I able to put my name behind this child? They only had a partial high on the 3.0 item. What a partial high means is they had a small minor error. Maybe they completed the whole problem. Math folks, you'll understand this. They completed the whole problem, but they just made an addition error at the end. Okay, or they didn't line up the problem perfectly. That means the issue is more either the basic math facts or due diligence. That doesn't mean the issue is with the standard. So I'm going to put my name behind that this child can do this standard. And actually, the prescription for their work is something else that I need to improve to get their performance to match their abilities. So in terms of scoring and grading, we need to practice. We want to take some time, maybe work with our colleagues and work through examples of how would I score this and how would I grade this before we engage in a standards-based grading and report card policy for our entire building.